first sight at the airport, this particular musical instrument is played. And the musical instrument has come from Baltistan. It's called Daman, right? Next. And especially for the students, if you are doing research, and when we talk about values, and you have to ask value for whom? Value, there are, like for researchers, or maybe for educators, for teachers, or for humanity, or for myself, something at my house which is very valuable to me, it may not be valuable to you, but those are like different values for different people. If we have so many historical buildings and monuments in Ladakh, they are also value for tourists. Tourists are coming because of all these valuable assets that we have in Ladakh. Like that, the value is for different people and also different periods. If something is not valuable for us today, it may become valuable tomorrow. So we have to think in that way. Next. And I did my Buddhist studies actually. So that is why most of the time I was in Sri Lanka. Till my postgraduate I studied in Sri Lanka. That is why my Hindi is not very good, so that is why I'm speaking in English. So people think that when I studied, I did my Buddhist studies, they think I'm a very, strong Buddhist and Buddhist thinker and this and that. But in Buddhist studies, traditional Buddhist studies, we have 10 sciences actually. So if you take out the 5th number, which is inner science, and that is Buddhist philosophy, otherwise all these studies or sciences are common for everyone actually. Even in Baltistan, I have seen people studying about the first one, especially craftsmanship, and Baltis are the experts. Who built Leh Palace? Who built Chitan Palace? Baltis. So they are experts, right? So when I say I do Buddhist studies, the first one, craftsmanship, Zorikpa we call it, which is the Baltis are very famous and expert. So there are many other similar things like logic, grammar, medicine, and the drama, actually, theater. So Baltis are experts. So even the poetry, I think Baltis are experts. So there are so many common things in all these studies. Next. Yeah, even there are a lot of contribution from Baltistan to Buddhism actually. Even if we talk about Buddhism, as I said, I studied Buddhism. So the one who introduced Buddhism to Tibet from India, from Nalanda University, was known as Guru Padma Sambhava. And he was from that area actually. He was not from Tibet. So now it's known as Udyana in Pakistan. And earlier Udayagrama. So he came from that area, studied Buddhism in India, and introduced the same Buddhism to Tibet. And he was a great admirer of Bonism. Before him, there was another scholar from Nalanda called Shantarakshita. He went to Tibet to introduce Buddhism. He was not successful because he did not care about the local religion, the indigenous religion, the Bon religion. So he wanted to introduce the pure Buddhism that was taught in Nalanda University, and he was not successful. He had to go back. And then he sent Padmasambhava. And Padmasambhava, what he did was, he accepted all the good things from Bonism to Buddhism. So that is why today in Buddhist practices, we have maybe 50% is from Bon religion, right? So that was a gift or a contribution from Baltistan to Buddhism, I think, Padmasambhava. And next, please. And then there is another very famous Basi Losawa, which means translator, right? And he has built a very famous monastery in Tibet, in western part of Lhasa. He built a temple called Syamunun. And also he has translated so many Buddhist texts from Sanskrit to Tibetan, and which are still preserved in the monasteries of Buddhist monasteries actually. And he was a Bhakti from Baltistan. And And also, he was recognized as the reincarnation of Mari Rinpoche. And Mari Rinpoche now is the brother of His Holiness Dalai Lama, the younger brother of His Holiness Dalai Lama, was the reincarnation of this Basi Dosawa. So he was also from Baltistan. So that is why, yeah. Right. And there are so many scholars and translators here from Baltistan who have contributed to Buddhism. Next, please. And yes, Sadiq has already mentioned all these mantal, Buddha rock art and others. There are so many of them in Baltistan, all around Baltistan. So there are petroglyphs, there are rock arts of Bodhisattvas, Buddhas. So again, as I said, it may not have religious value now in Baltistan, but it has many other values like architectural value or the archaeological value especially, and also the economical value. Now there are so many tourists in Baltistan because of all these rock arts. That is how economically the Balti peoples are benefited. So that is why now they are trying their best to preserve all these monuments. So there are lots of movements going on in Baltistan. And if you see on the social media, every other day the Balti people post all these Buddha statues, and there are mantras coming on the rocks, Om Mane Padme Hum, the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, and then there are so many other. The petroglyphs are very common, which depicts hunting scene, horsemen, and hunters with bow and arrow, which are very common in Ladakh as well as in Pakistan. Right? Next, please. And then even if we talk about sports, so it was all gifted by Baltistan into Ladakh. So we played for polo, and we say polo is traditional sport of Ladakh, and from where it has come, from Baltistan, right? And the same thing is, there are so many other things. And with polo, the musical instruments like saman, surna, everything comes from Baltistan to Ladakh. And